evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside Council to order. We do have a quorum tonight. I'd ask you to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for the invocation.
Please pray with me. God, we come to you tonight with hearts full of thanksgiving and praise. Thanksgiving and praise for the provision of the much-needed rain that gave moisture to our dry and our parched land. We ask that you would continue to provide more rain to fill our lakes and to keep our forests and lands safe from fires. We also give you thanksgiving for each person in this room and for their wanting the best for the cities of Pinetop and Lakeside. Would you bless our council members, our city officials, and our mayor? Would you give them discernment and unity not only tonight, but in each committee meeting that they attend? Thank you for their willingness to serve their constituents, even when it is not easy to do so. We also ask that you would bless each small business within our communities and that you would provide them with an abundance of financial prosperity. And now, be with all persons in this room as they discuss the issues at hand. May all be courteous, wise, and united. And we end by saying, may it be so. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Pastor Diane. Before we get started, I just want to remind all the council members to speak into your microphone so that it's all picked up for Rob and Annie, right? Sure. Item B on our agenda is call to the public. This is a business meeting of the Town Council. The town values and welcomes public input. Please address this council as a whole and not individual council members. Do not address staff or members of the audience. Council action on items brought up is limited by the open meeting law. Council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Items on the agenda are not heard during call to the public, and individuals are limited to 3 minutes. Lynn Krigbaum would like to speak.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have 3 announcements, things that are happening this weekend that I would like to make sure you know about. First of all, on Saturday morning, starting at 7 o'clock, beside the Nature Center, there's a building, and we will be receiving anything that you would like to pass on to other people in the way of a yard sale, sleeping bag, hiking boots, backpack, tent, any kind of outdoor, gently used outdoor equipment. So from 7 until noon at the building next to the Nature Center, we will be receiving that stuff. And then there will be a yard sale that people will hopefully come and buy all of that stuff on the next Saturday at the same place on Saturday the 24th. That's from 7 until 2 p.m. Then on the Nature Center, also this Saturday at 10 o'clock, there is a program called Wonderful Wetlands. And Dan Grubner, retired from Game and Fish, and he will be doing a short presentation about wetlands and how important they are. And then they will invite everybody to visit Big Springs, the wetlands right there. Then on Sunday afternoon at the White Mountain Arts Alliance Gallery on Penrod at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a group called Community Voices. Cynthia Jellison, our White Mountain Chorale director, has amassed 20 people to come and sing. Summer Spirituals is what we're calling it. So it's just a part of it, sing-along. It'll be a fun, very relaxed concert. So it's a small venue. We're not expecting a lot of people. But if you're looking for something just pleasant to do on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Come to the White Mountain Arts Alliance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn. We'll move on then to item C, which is the consent agenda. All items listed are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion of the council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of council requests that they be removed for discussion. Questions, of course, can be asked at any time. Items removed are considered in their normal sequence as listed unless called out of sequence. And we've got 2 items on our consent agenda tonight. Any questions, comments? Vice Mayor?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'd second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D is business before the council. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item, either before or after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes. Questions from council members may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the mayor at any time. Item D1 is a presentation from VFW Post 2364 to the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. Mr. John Beeler.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm speaking for VFW 2364 and the Post members. We want to thank the council for all their support. And also we want to thank individuals that have really stepped forward and really helped us for a long time. And Keith Johnson, Jill have been a great help to us. Melina over there, hiding in the corner. Tony and the council for bringing the Vietnam Wall here, which right now we're going through the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, which first started, according to the Department of Defense, in November of 1955. It ended in May of 1975, so it was a 20-year thing. That's when 55 is when the first advisors went into Vietnam. So the two coinciding really is important to Vietnam veterans, which I'm one of. Al is another Vietnam veteran. And we want to thank everybody, the council and the people and the staff, and Matt. I don't know if he's here, but
He's on vacation.
they have really stepped up to help us over the years. And I don't want to forget Paul when he was town manager, his support. So it's been a great experience. At times we have differences with the council and the town, naturally, because we as veterans, and the VFW is all combat veterans, so we're all in combat. So we have a different attitude about certain things in our United States. But it's been a great experience this year, or last year too, that we've been able to have with the council and the town. They've really stepped up, especially the staff. They do a lot for us that we cannot do. I don't type, and I don't draw stuff. And Annie DeRozier, I think she's back there. She's a great help too. So it's like I say, it's really worked out good, and we really appreciate what you've done. And so tonight we want to give you not a plaque, but an eagle, which is representation of our country. And Al Jones is a past commander of the post, so am I, but I'm the present quartermaster and adjutant, and have been for 24 years. But Al is the senior vice. Our other officers are out of town, so they're not here tonight, so you're stuck with us two. But this is a plaque, an eagle with a cross of Malta on it, our emblem. And it's to the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. Thank you for creating the Veterans Memorial Park, Post 2364, 15 of August 2021. So, Mayor, if you would come down, we would love to present this to you. that's all our presentation, but I don't want to forget Dan Barnes. He's a help too. Even though we give him heck all the time. Thank you again, Council.
Thank you, John and Al, for all you do for our community. And I just also would like to thank all of our staff who were involved with moving the memorial out here, and invite everybody on August 13th at 11 o'clock. It will be dedicated in a ceremony that morning. So we look forward to having a big crowd, and we appreciate everything that you guys have done. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Item D2 is introduction of Library Manager Betsy Peck. Keith.
Let's see. I'll do like Kevin did. All right, it says, please speak into the microphone. All right, and I could read that without my glasses. Mayor Irwin, Vice Mayor Smith, and Council, I come before you tonight to present our new, if I can have Betsy come up, our new library manager. I'm very happy to be able to present her to you. She's accepted the position. In the year that I've had a chance to work with Betsy, she has been a breath of fresh air in the library with the programs and everything that she has done. They have raised, during the pandemic when we had to close the library, and as soon as we were able to open that back up, she came up with all sorts of programs to get people back into the library. And that has grown and grown. And she has such an enthusiasm, not just for the programs that she's putting together, but for the benefit that it is to the children and to the patrons of the library. She and her staff do a great job every day, and she has a great team. And I know, and I have great faith and confidence in her ability and their ability to continue the great tradition that the library has been within our community for, I'm not sure how many years it's been. At least however long we've been incorporated, and probably went before that too. But very happy to have Betsy here with us. And we introduced her as the interim before, but if you have any questions for her, be glad to stand for them, or if she'd like to say anything more.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm thrilled. It's going to be a lot of fun. It already is. The transition has been fairly smooth. It seems like it was just last week when I was here when we were getting ready to kick off our summer reading program, and now we're at 9 weeks and it's winding down next week. So it's been a huge success, and we've had a lot of fun, a lot of really well-attended programs. So I couldn't do it without the staff that I have, and I just look forward to a great 2021-22 and doing the things that we do and spending some of that new money that we got from the federal government for that ARPA and some of the plans that we've discussed. So thank you.
Welcome, Betsy. Look forward to working with you. Yes.
May I congratulate you on the wonderful work that you're doing in the library. As a former librarian, I appreciate it, and I do know the work that goes into it that's often overlooked. I'm particularly interested and was just thrilled to death to attend your meeting Vic the dog.
Oh, yeah, the police.
That was one of my fundraising ideas. I haven't put it in view yet, but it will be by the senior center. She had a fantastic crowd. The children were enthralled. Little boy met me on the way out, and he says, "Oh, isn't that dog smart? And you know he's bilingual."
Well,
I
Vic
thought it
was a
priceless.
hit, and he's coming on Wednesday for our finale wrap-up party at 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning.
Good.
And we'll have our therapy dog that does the pause for reading, and we're going to have Alana's horse, Cinnamon, and a mini pony. So we'll have different creatures with tails, and we'll be doing all the prize drawings, which if you've been in the library, you've seen we have that whole front display of 12 fabulous prizes, 3 bikes, a paddleboard, a junior kayak, just, some Star Wars stuff, Lego stuff. So all summer, the kids have been putting their little raffle tickets in that they've been earning by reading and doing the missions. And the Nature Center event on Saturday for the wetlands is on our calendar too, and we've been promoting that. So it's been fun. It's hard to believe it's winding down though. So
Seems like it just started.
and then school starts like August 2nd. So then we're going to take a little pause until after Labor Day to regroup and roll out some more stuff. So, but thank you very much. I'm thrilled.
Thank you, Betsy. Keith.
You're welcome.
Item D3 is consider designating the town of Pinetop-Lakeside as the official destination marketing organization, DMO, for the purpose of coordinating tourism promotion with the Arizona Office of Tourism. Tony.
Good evening, Mayor Irwin, Vice Mayor Smith, members of the council. Tonight I'm here to ask you, at the request of the Arizona Office of Tourism, to officially designate the town of Pinetop-Lakeside as the destination marketing organization for the community. If you'll recall, in April of 2019, hard to believe it's been more than 2 years, the Arizona Office of Tourism approved the town's application to serve as the official visitor information center for the community. And we opened that visitor information center on May 31st of 2019. As the operator of that visitor information center, by default, the town was recognized by AOT as the official destination marketing organization, DMO. Beginning this month and this year, Arizona Office of Tourism is formalizing the process by which they recognize DMOs in each community throughout the state by asking the local government entity to designate an official DMO through an official action. That's what we're asking of you tonight. The designation will be confirmed with an affidavit, which is in your packet, that will run through June 30th, 2022, and must be renewed every year. Arizona Office of Tourism recognizes only one DMO in each community, but they don't designate that DMO. They will recognize it, but not designate it. That falls to the government, the governing agency. In order to qualify as a DMO, the designated entity must be a nonprofit organization or governmental agency with a tourism marketing budget, a website, and or a social media presence. Town of Pinetop-Lakeside obviously meets all three of that criteria. By designating the town as the official DMO for our community, the town will be authorized then to participate with Arizona Office of Tourism on its official programs and also apply for grant funding. And just yesterday, Governor Ducey unveiled a $100 million grant program. The details are still being fleshed out for tourism-related expenses throughout the state. So we're looking forward to participating in that, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Tony. Any questions? So this really doesn't change the role we've been playing. It just formalizes it.
It just formalizes it. So the Office of Tourism is asking everyone to formalize it and asking the government agencies. I was on a call today. I know Prescott is doing the same thing. Sedona is as well. And I received a call from Santa Cruz County today. They're investigating how to do this as well, so they wanted to pick our brains. So yes, this just formalizes it and makes it official.
Councilor
You
Krigbaum?
ready for the motion?
Yes, please.
I move to designate the town of Pinetop-Lakeside as the official destination marketing organization for the community for the purpose of coordinating tourism promotion with the Arizona Office of Tourism.
I'd second that.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to designate Pinetop-Lakeside as the official destination marketing organization with the Arizona Office of Tourism. Further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
Council.
you. Thank you. We need to go back to agenda item D2 and have officially take action to appoint Betsy as our library manager. correct?
Yes, it's a kind of it's an odd thing that's in our code. But since it's in the code, at some point we may bring it back to the council to remove that, because I don't think any other cities or towns has that as a formal thing, but it is in our town code.
So can I have a motion to appoint Betsy? Councilor Hastings, would you like to make that?
My pleasure. Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we accept our employee, Betsy Peck, as the new library manager of Pinetop-Lakeside Library.
I'll second that.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to appoint Betsy Peck as our library manager. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you for catching that. I did not know we needed to do that. Okay, moving on then to item D4, which is a consider resolution number 21-1582 and the approval of the purchase of a new Genie Z34 221C self-propelled articulating boom four-wheel drive. And since Matt's on vacation, we're going to have Milena explain this to us.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. It's my pleasure to be here tonight in Matt's absence. He sent me a picture this morning of his office view today, and of course it was the lake. So we're all a little envious of him this week. As the mayor said, we are looking to purchase a boom lift for the Public Works Department. If any of you have seen any of the work that we do specifically for Christmas time, we put up all the Christmas decorations. We put all the Christmas decorations on the light poles, both in downtown Pinetop and downtown Lakeside. We use a lift for replacing all the light bulbs in the parking lots, both at all of our facilities here at Town Hall, but especially in our parks. They're higher lights and can't get a ladder up there. We spend quite a bit of money renting that lift, which we have to rent each and every time that we use it. I pulled this last time that we rented the lift, which we rented it for changing out light bulbs around the Public Works building, changing out all of the light bulbs in Mountain Meadow Recreation Complex parking lot to all LED lights, as well as working on our cameras at our parks and other lights in the other facilities around town. The cost for a very similar lift to what we are wanting to purchase is $1,369 a week. So that's $1,369 a week. So it adds up very quickly, and it is very valuable for us to be able to have to work on our facilities, our parks, and any other things that we would need to do to prepare for Christmas, 4th of July, or any other holidays that we may need to decorate for. Greg Smith is also here from Empire. If we have any equipment-specific questions for him, if you guys had any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Milena, any questions for Milena?
Is this actually tall enough to do our ball field lights?
It is not, no. That actually requires a pretty extensive lift that has balancers that have to be extended out, and they have to go up to over 80 feet. So unfortunately, that is way outside our budget for the times that we would use it.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
How frequently do those lights need to be changed, and do we rent a piece of equipment to do it?
We do. So in the time that I've been here, which is almost 4 years now, we've rented one, and that was only to move the lights, relocate the lights at Mountain Meadow Recreation Complex. We have one bulb that's currently out at Woodland. It does not affect the playing atmosphere during the night games, as we just had the senior softball games, or tournament, excuse me. So transferring over to LED, which we'll be doing slowly at both parks, the need is not extensive for a lift that size. Mm-hmm.
Is the Genie the same thing that takes the sign over the highway?
No, and that actually has to be done by Navapache Electric. That's in their utility right-of-way, and that requires a very large truck that they put up man lift, bucket, and it requires a couple of staff members to do that from Navapache Electric. So that's also not something that we have the need for just the few banner switches that we do.
Councilor Snitzer.
It's really a question for Greg, but this shows that we would have it paid off in 5 years, but I'm anticipating the actual lifespan of a piece of equipment like that is a lot longer than 5 years. So I just wonder what it is.
Excuse me, Vice Mayor and Mayor.
You're good.
They choose to went to a full payoff in 5 years, but that's a piece of equipment that lasts you 20 to 25 years with good maintenance. And to Melena's point about the big lift for the 100 plus feet, that's a $200,000 piece of equipment.
We don't want
that. Yeah, if you need to do that once a year, we have those for rent. But this is a core piece that most municipalities have in stock to use all the time for all the things she mentioned.
Okay. Thanks.
I heard somebody pipe up in the background say Christmas tree too. Yes, it would help us decorate our Christmas tree as well.
Yeah, lots of uses for it, I'm sure. And we do have it in our budget, so.
Yes, it
also.
is.
Any motion? Vice Mayor Smith?
I move to adopt resolution number 21-1582, approving the purchase of a new Genie Z34/22IC self-propelled articulating boom through the Omnia Partners contract number 16153-4 in an amount not to exceed $76,817.02 to be paid with annual payments that are subject to annual appropriation, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete this transaction.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 21-1582. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Milena. Moving then to item D5. Don't go away. Consider resolution number 21-1583 and the approval of the purchase of a used Empire Cat 2017 compactor, CS44B.
Yes. Again, hello. I pulled the rental invoice. We actually just rented this exact piece of equipment for using over at Woodland Lake Park, specifically for doing the path and compacting, not the asphalt per se, but the subgrade. This compactor for a week's rental is, not including taxes and delivery charges, is almost $1,300. And then for a month, which we typically would utilize it for at least a month, with Woodland Lake Park, we had it for several months. It is $3,360 for the month, and that's not including taxes and delivery charges and fuel and all of that kind of stuff. We have several projects coming up that will be needing to use this compactor, as well as regular maintenance opportunities for both our streets and our parks departments. One of the projects that we have coming up is rebuilding the soccer fields at Mountain Meadow Recreation Complex. So this not only compacts for use in roads and compacting the subgrade, but it can also compact our soil to create our smooth surface to plant grass and have a nice level playing surface that we're working towards getting currently. And again, we would be using it for both parks and for the streets departments on a fairly regular basis. And we do not currently have anything that's even close to this size. We currently have it's roughly a 3.5-ton roller that we use for our asphalt.
Any questions for Milena?
How much is this unit?
It's in the packet here, and you have to forgive me, I can't recall off the top of my head.
Total of $101,646.96. Of course, we would be leasing that over a 5-year period.
Correct.
And I see that the budgeting amount is for the Public Works Department. Is Parks underneath that? So are you using half Parks money and half streets?
We are not currently. It is just going under the streets department, but we would use it for the parks department.
Right,
as
but
well.
I was wondering in the budget,
No.
Okay,
No.
thank you.
Other questions for Milena? Abuse?
I move that we adopt resolution number 21-1583, approving the purchase of an Empire Cat 2017 CS44B compactor through the Omnia Partners Contract number 161534 in an amount not to exceed $101,646.96 to be paid with annual payments that are subject to annual appropriation, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete this transaction.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 21-1584. Is there further discussion? Excuse me, 21-1583. Further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Milena. Thank you, Greg, for
Have a
being here
great evening.
tonight. Moving then to item D6, which is consideration of resolution number 21-1584 and the adoption of the fiscal year 2021-2022 tentative budget for the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. Evan.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. We have before you tonight for consideration the resolution to adopt our budget for fiscal year 21-22. As you know, we started out the process with public meetings in May and in June, where we were hammering out the line items and the direction moving forward. So what we have tonight is a culmination of all those meetings. What we're asking you to approve tonight is on the official forms of the state, but included in your packet was what you're used to seeing, the presentation that I make with, it's more familiar to you than what the state forms are. What I would like to tell you is from our total budget that we're asking you to approve is $23,434,340. That is significantly higher than last year, but that's because we had to gross up and include our $10 million in revenue bonds. And so that's why it appears that it's significantly higher from last year. A couple of years ago, you all approved us operating under an annual expenditure limitation, otherwise known as home rule, okay? So what home rule means is we still have a limit, but we don't have the limit that is the default by the state level, okay? So if you look on the cover page or the summary schedule of the state forms, you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner that our total budget that we're asking you to approve is $23,434,000 and change. You will also see our estimated exclusions of $14,911,000 and change. What the exclusions are, you don't have to include in your expenditure limitation. So what I've calculated the exclusions to be, they're things like debt proceeds, you get to exclude those, debt service payments, any of our grant funding, which we've got $4.5 million in here, so that doesn't count against our limit. Our ARPA funding, $746,000, our Arizona DEMA funding of $150,000, and all of our HERP revenue, since we didn't become a town until 1984, you get to exclude anything that you spend prior to 1980. So the total of our exclusions there is $14,911,000. So our amount subject to the limit is $8.5 million, and our approved annual expenditure limitation for this year is $12,750,000. So we're well below our limit. The major changes that are in this final budget from what you saw at our last session are an increase in local sales tax 250,000 from what we think we're going to collect from our consultant that's working to collect taxes for us. The sales tax, the state sales tax, the state gave us an updated estimate, and it was about 30,000 higher than what you had seen from the previous estimate. So I've got the final estimate in here. On the last worksheet, I had made a mistake on our HERF revenue, and I had in there 583,000, but it really should have been 675,000, so that's included in these totals too. The big difference is I grossed up all the debt from what you had seen before. So I had to include the 10 million we got from the bonds, plus the premiums that we got from the bond sale, and the expenses. Another issue that's different from what you'd seen before, when I presented the budget to you on the first two work sessions, I tried to give that to you on a cash basis of where we'll be on what our cash is that we've taken and the cash that we end up with. But our parameters for the budget is supposed to be prepared in the same format as our GAAP basis audited financials. So in this final form, we're asking you to approve in the capital projects, I grossed up all the debt figures. So the two contracts you just approved, we were spending $20,000 roughly on each one of those. And that's how I presented it to you in the first two meetings, because I want you to see what's our cash in and what's our cash out. In the final budget figures, I have to include the debt proceeds of the difference. So they're both in here for $100,000 roughly. And each of the items that we are buying on contract, the parameters are we're supposed to gross up the revenue and the expenses, if that makes sense. So most of the changes are in that capital projects fund where all the debts are in Fund 19, if that makes sense. And I believe that's all the major things that I wanted to cover in regards to this. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions for Kevin? Go right ahead, Lizzie.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adopt resolution number 21-1584, adopting the tentative budget, adopting the estimated amounts required to meet the public expenses for the town of Pinetop-Lakeside fiscal year 2021 to 2022, authorizing and directing publication of statements and schedules of the tentative budget together with notice of hearing on said budget and notice of date of final adoption of said budget.
I'll second.
Thank you, ladies. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 21-1584. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Kevin, thank you for all your work on this, and thank you to all the department heads. I know everybody played a big role in getting this pulled together. It's never an easy task to spread our finite resources in their best uses. So I think we've done a pretty darn good job. Hope so. Anyway, thank you. Item D7 is pursuant to ARS Section 38-431-03A3. The council may vote to enter into executive session. Upon a public majority vote of the members constituting a quorum, a public body may hold an executive session for the following purpose. 3 is discussion or consultation for legal advice with the attorney or attorneys of the public body. And 4, discussion or consultation with the attorneys of the public body in order to consider its position and instruct the attorneys regarding the public body's position, regarding contracts that are the subject of negotiations, to pending or contemplated litigation, or to settlement discussions conducted in order to avoid or resolve litigation. We are looking to enter into executive session for discussion or consultation with our town attorney regarding town procedures and practices. I do need a motion to enter into executive session.
I move that we move into executive session.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to enter executive session. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. We will enter into executive session, and when we're done, we'll just come back out as this is the final item and adjourn our meeting.